Okay, hello everyone. Today I am going to try to make a video with me actually talking and sort of describing what I'm doing. So we'll see how it goes. I'm a little nervous, but today I'm going to be doing a chocolate soap, um, and I'm calling it Montezuma Spicy. So I'm going to use chocolate powder and which I forgot to scoop out. So I'm going to do about a tablespoon um, of chocolate powder, cocoa powder, um, as the base color. And then I'm using Trial by Fire from Nurture Soap to for a red kind of swirl to give it that, spicy flair. And then I'm going to be using a chocolate fragrance oil from Flaming Candle. It's just called chocolate. So, and then I'm going to mix it with Wholesale Supply has a hot pepper fragrance oil. So I'm going to be using that as well. And just a tiny bit because it is really strong. I used it for another one of my soaps, and it's very strong. So we're gonna get started here. This is my shea butter, and what I do first of all is I melt all my hard oils, but I melt them thoroughly. I know a lot of people will say, just heat them up and then stir until they're melted, but I every time I do that, I get really bad stearic acid spots and large ones too. I mean, not just little tiny dots. They're like very large stearic spots. So what I do is I start with the shea butter, which I'm using today, and I start melting that, and got just about that. And then I melt it for about, I don't know, 30 seconds, and then I start adding my other butters. And actually, I'm using cocoa butter, so I probably should have started with that, but I don't I don't usually use cocoa butter, so I forgot that it's a little bit harder than shea butter, but that's fine. So we're gonna start heating this up. Okay, so I melted my shea butter for about 30 seconds, and now I'm gonna add in my cocoa butter. 2.4. So I don't really need that much, but there we go. Okay, now I'm going to melt this for maybe a minute and a half, but in 30-second bursts because I don't want to overheat it. So that's next. Okay, so here's my cocoa butter and my shea butter a little bit melted. Now I'm going to add my coconut oil. And normally I'm making this a vegan soap. So normally instead of the cocoa butter, I use beef tallow. But because this is a chocolate soap and because I want to make it vegan, I'm using shea butter and cocoa butter. So, and this is my coconut oil. Oh, a little bit too much there. Alright, and then I'm going to get this all completely melted before I start adding any of my olive oil and all the other liquid oils. Okay, so here's my hard oils melted, and all I do is I put it in for about 30 seconds, and then I'll stir it for a little while. Then I put it in for another 30 seconds, and I stir it for a little while. And then if it's, depending on how melted it is, I might put it in for 15 seconds or something like that, and then stir it. But I just really want everything all melted, without having to stir it until it's melted, just because of, like I said before, I get really bad steric spots if I don't do that. So now I'm going to add my liquids. Okay, so here's my castor oil, and I'm going to try to pour on the spatula here so I won't introduce bubbles into my oils. And I buy castor oil in a big jug, so I put it in these little olive oil bottles because it has that little nozzle that sort of bottlenecks everything and pours slow. Because I notoriously overpour. Oops, and I think I don't have my bottle's almost out. There we go. And so this helps me control my pour a little bit. I've got to grab my other bottle. So that I'm not wasting a bunch of oil all the time. Okay, there we go. Got that. And then next is my avocado oil. And I'm just thinking, do we need more light? My lighting is terrible, so I apologize. Let me turn on this other light over here, see if that'll help. Okay, so then I've got my avocado oil. And this one, I wish it had one of those nozzles like the olive oil, but so I have to be careful. But I'm pouring on the spatula, trying not to create any bubbles. Almost. Okay, got a little bit over, but that's okay. All right, and then the olive oil. So, and I buy big jugs of the olive oil as well, so I save all my cooking bottles to use. And it just helps me pour. I can't pour out of those big jugs, so I think I'm gonna use all. Ooh, careful. The rest of this one. Okay. And I have to really concentrate to hit that spatula. I don't have a very steady hand. Almost there. Almost there. There we go. Okay. All right. So there's my oils. All golden and pretty. And the golden color is from the cocoa butter. Normally, without the cocoa butter, it's a little bit paler. So, alright, so that's good. So I'm going to set this aside, let it cool for a little bit, make sure I have all of my other ingredients, go over my checklist again, because I always forget something. So, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so here's my red, which is Trial by Fire. I don't know if you can see that or not, but from Nurture Soap. And I've put in here some winter white, um, only because it has titanium dioxide, and my chocolate FO fragrance oil has will discolor, and I don't want it to discolor the red, and sometimes it'll bleed in. So I'm hoping that this winter white has enough TD in it that it'll counteract that FO kind of creeping into the red color. So, and I'm hoping that it won't turn pink. So we'll see how it goes. Let's pour a little bit of oil in here. Okay. And use this little spatula, see if I can see if it'll work. Usually I use the bigger to mix it all up. I think I need the bigger one. Yeah. All right. Sorry, hold on. Okay, so here's the main little bigger spatula. Okay, so, oh, that's better. Okay, so we'll get that mixed in. It does look a little pink, so I'm almost out of my trial by fire. So I'm gonna add more trial by fire, and pretty much the rest of the bag here. I added 1 teaspoon already, and then this is about, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. So there we go. I just ordered some more of that, so hopefully, I love the trial by fire. I love red. Red is my favorite color, in case you don't know that. And so I've just been using, ever since I got it, I've just been using in everything that I've made since I've gotten it. Just about. So here's, does that look kind of pink, or does that look, I don't know, maybe should add a little bit of black to it. Big decisions in life, because I don't want it to be too pinky. Get a little bit of charcoal, see what it does. See if it had any effect at all on it. I don't know, what do you think? It's hard to tell with that light shining on it. I don't know, I think that looks pretty good. So I think we're gonna go with that. Okay. Set that aside and get my utensils out of the way. Okay, so here's my lye solution, and it's got a lot of lye lint in there. One thing I've noticed is that when I put it in the refrigerator to cool it down, I get a lot of extra lye lint. I don't know why. But when I just leave it out on the counter and let it cool, I don't get any lye lint. So, but I don't plan ahead usually. I just am, oh look, let's make some soap, and then I just make some soap. Okay, so that's about 74 degrees, which is in here room temperature. And then my oils, let's see what my oils are. My oils are 90. Oh, it keeps going up. 98. So that's good. I like to soak a little bit hot because, again, I get steric spots if I do it any cooler. So let me add my additives, and that's actually going to help cool it down too. So I've got my egg. This time I'm doing a whole egg. Last time I just did egg whites, But this time I'm going to do the whole egg and see what happens. So I haven't done the whole egg before. So we're going to put that in the oil. Okay, and then I have here, I have my oatmeal. I use ground oats instead of the colloidal. And that's just a preference. I like to feel the texture of it a little bit better than just the colloidal oats are very smooth and they, you know, dissolve. So I like that. And and also in here is the kaolin clay. Okay, and then in here I have my dissolved sugar and salt. And this is another thing that I do a little bit differently, because I just seem to have problems if I add my sugar and salt to my lye water. I get a lot of lye lint, and I just don't want to deal with all that. So as long as the sugar especially is dissolved, you're fine. Even if the salt doesn't dissolve all the way, that's fine. But the sugar should get all dissolved, and I haven't had trouble dissolving the sugar. But I guess the sugar needs to be dissolved to make the best bubbles. So that's that in there. Okay, and then, oh, my coconut milk. I almost forgot. Okay, so I'm using coconut milk, and I've got, what did I use? I was supposed to use like 7.45 ounces of water. I used 310, which is equal to my lye water. And then I used 2 ounces of water for the sugar and salt to dissolve that. And then I'm using 2.35 coconut milk. And this is actually a little bit of canned coconut milk because I had that left over. And then just regular coconut milk, which you get in the box. And I use organic, unsweetened coconut milk. So that goes in there. And if you haven't noticed, I'm very messy. I try to be neat, but I'm not. just always make a big old mess, no matter how hard I try. So, okay, there's that. Sorry, get myself organized here. And then we're going to mix this. Okay, so we're going to add the lye, and I'm going to strain it because it has a little bit of lye lint. Into my red. And I'm not doing a whole lot of red. Base is going to be chocolate. Hopefully a tablespoon is enough. I think it would be. but my fragrance oil discolors, so that'll probably help. Okay. Stir that up. Nice brown. Sorry, I have the camera on the wrong side. Well, that's kind of a light brown, huh? Well, hopefully the fragrance oil will discolor it enough to make it a little bit darker. So we'll have to see as it goes through the curing process. Okay, wow, that's already thick, and I haven't even added my fragrance oil yet. Okay, there we go. Fragrance. Okay, so that was the chocolate, into the chocolate section, and this is my hot peppers. Barely, I don't know if you can see that. It's just like barely anything, because I do not want this to be so overwhelming hot pepper. Because it's pretty strong. So isn't that such a pretty color? I just love red. Red is such a beautiful color. Okay, so I'm at a thin trace, and I really want to get a good drop pour, so let's do this. Am I not sticking? Oh well. Okay, so let's get hopefully that wasn't too much on the edge. Okay, now the red. Okay, I'm going to start from way up high so that I can make sure that it gets down pretty deep. Ooh, lots of air bubbles. Okay. Well, hopefully it got down in there. Oh. Phew. Okay. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more chocolate because there's a little bit of room on the top. More. More. Okay. Alright, we're going to get some more so we can have some stripey on top. Not sure what I'm going to do. I think, oh, I forgot to do I forgot to do my swirl, you guys. Dear. Okay, well, here goes nothing. Sorry. Well, not apologizing. Sorry to me. Goodness. Okay, here I go. Okay, now I've totally overflowed my mold. Oh dear. See, this is what happens. I make a total mess. Okay, so we're gonna just go for it, because, you know, that's what I do. Couple lines. Okay, then we're gonna get my little, I got a one of those fruit bouquets that the edible bouquets, and this is just a little stick that was inside of it. So I think I'm just gonna oh my gosh, that looks cool. Should I do it again? I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna do it one more time. There we go. How's that? Does that look all right? Okay, pound it. Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it alone because that's overflowing. There you go. There you go, you guys. Thanks for watching, and tomorrow I'll show the cut. I'm back because I forgot to tell you that I spray it with alcohol, and then I pop it. So I just, my bottle fell down, sorry. So I just spray it, and then I use, oh, here's the bottle. So I use the 99%. Hopefully that's in focus. I cannot tell. But it's just the Amazon brand that I use. So I just spray it 3 or 4 times, and then I stick it in the oven. I set my oven for 170, and then as soon as I put it in, I turn the oven off. I leave the light on, and my oven, it's weird. It has holes in the bottom, so all this cold air comes into it. So after about 5 hours, I can feel the oven start cooling down, and I put it into a little igloo until the next day, and it stays a little bit warmer in there. So anyway, that's my little process. And anyway, we'll be back with the cut in the morning. Okay, so we're back, and it's actually only been about 7 hours, I think, and I went to check on it because before I went to bed, and it's really hard, and I think it's because of the egg. I think the egg makes it kind of hard. So I'm gonna cut it and see what it looks like on the inside. I like the red. It's not as brown as I was hoping. So I'm hoping during cure that it'll get browner. So here's my end piece. That looks good. I like that. There we go. It's still warm. Can you see all right? Can I get the light up a little bit? Can't. So the swirl turned out the way I wanted it to. I'm just hoping that the brown will get a little bit darker. Sorry, I keep sniffing. I like that. That one's cool. Yeah, the swirl definitely turned out. Oops, I got a white spot. Turned out how I wanted it. Because it's you know, chili peppers. So I didn't want it, I wanted it kind of like look a little bit pointy, kind of like chili peppers. All right, well, I'm very happy with how these turned out. Cool. And I got my end pieces, and I'm gonna cut these so that I have like little samples when the time comes. There we go. Very cool. So hopefully they'll darken up. The chocolate part will darken up, and it'll look more like a rich hot chocolate. All right. Well, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.